Hello and welcome to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. Today we have a special guest on by the name of Baron Flenory, and I hope I'm saying that right. Mr. Flenory is the CEO of a football crew. I think he was also a former football player, but he'll tell us a little more about himself. Make sure you guys support if you like what I'm doing with your Let's Sip and Talk with Freema cup. It'll make your wine, your pop, your soda, your juice, and everything a little more luxury. Okay? So I appreciate everybody that donated so far. I really appreciate you guys. I'm in the midst of trying to get some new software going on so we can seem like we're somewhere else in the background sometimes, or a little better audio and all that good stuff. So I thank everyone for tuning in. You guys are so much appreciated. My eyelashes on wrong. So let's see if I can add Baron on. We're just waiting for him. Today is hump day. Hallelujah. Thank you, Cadence. We're just waiting for Baron on, so we will be able to speak to him and see what he's doing for the youth, for the individuals, and all that good stuff. And y'all know my greed behind what you guys cooked today. Did anybody cook anything? Cook. I had so much catching up to do with everything, from planning a weekend for my sister's bridal shower / bachelorette weekend. Like, I've been on go today. She thinks I'm not doing anything. It takes over my whole world. From talking to brides, trying to get everything together. Oh my God, I'm busy today. Cadence, are you hungry?
No.
Oh, good. Because Mama didn't cook today. What a bad mom. So anybody, we're just waiting for Byron to come on. If not, we're just going to have an open discussion. But anybody, talk to me. Did you guys cook today? Do anything today? Are y'all sipping on any wine? It's okay to sip wine during the week. The Italians do it all the time for dinner. Nothing's going on. Nobody want to tell me anything? Y'all know I keep it real on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. One of my eyelashes look like it's a little low. I don't know. So we're just waiting for Baron to come on. Hopefully he'll be on very soon. How's everybody doing today? I thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Listen, see, when you be live, things just happen. Like, my earring just straight fell out. I don't know where my back went. I can't put this back on, so that means I have to take the other one out. I do apologize, people. My earring just straight fell out. So you guys, while we're waiting for Byron to come on, how do you guys feel? And I know some people already started school, but how do you guys feel about the virtual schooling? Like, going on? Are you sending your kids back to school September 8th? What are you guys doing? Talk to me. Let me know. I really want to know. Because honestly, where I work, I'm on the phone with my kids. Cadence, are you logged in? Monty, are you logged in? What are you doing now? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? And it's like, oh my God, I'd rather be home making sure they're doing their schoolwork, because at the end of the day, they have to do, they're our future. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're our future. So I have to make sure they're on the right path. But I have to work to make sure they get to where I'm at. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a sticky situation. So are you guys sending your kids back to school? Are you going to continue the virtual learning? What's going on with that? Talk to me, people. I don't want to feel like I'm the only one. Just honestly, I'm considering. And I told my friends last night that my kids are begging me to go back to school. You don't want to go back, Kate?
I do.
Monty want to go back. Cadence want to go back. Kali want to go back. So like, I don't know what to do at this point. I don't see Baron on, which is our guest today. So hopefully he'll come on soon. If not, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna discuss some things that I've been dying to discuss. We're gonna have an open discussion. Ooh, I see a new viewer on that I don't know. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. Do a lot of talking, but it's beneficial. Hopefully help other individuals. On Friday nights, we do open discussions. But you guys, seriously, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, are you sending your kids back to school after Labor Day? And do you think I suck if I were to send mine back? And I told my friends last night, I guess you just won't be around me if I decide. I need to make sure they're doing right, y'all. Like, I be at work. I don't know if they're doing what they say they're doing. Mom, I'm in school. I can't talk. You know, that's what Cadence gives me all the time. Mom, I'm in school. I can't talk. But it's like, are you really in school or are you on Roblox? That's not funny. Are you be on Roblox?
On my lunch break for 3 hours.
But I told you to do something educational in those 3 hours.
I'm watching TikTok.
See? That's my point. Cadence is honest. She said she'd be on Roblox, she'd be on TikTok, in the 3-hour lunch break that they get. So me as a worker, you know, like, what I do. Do y'all need to go to your daddy house during the time?
No.
Like, I'm confused. That's what I might have to do.
No.
I might, and then that's more hard on me because now, let me see if he added before I start talking y'all ear off. He's still not on. But see, now it's like, okay, I have to get up extra early. I'm going to either have to let CJ spend a night here. Baron, why I don't see you added? Oh, I got a request. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Hey.
We're good.
Hey, I was a little nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to talk these people ear off.
Out here feeling like Babyface versus.
How you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Okay, so I must ask you,
Hold on.
Byron. Am I saying that right, Byron? Can you hear me?
I'm watching it and I'm on it.
Okay, so my question, am I saying it right, Byron? I'm country. Uh-oh, we having some technical difficulties. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see if we can add him back. Okay, we're having technical difficulties, but my plan for the near future, November the 17th would be a year that I have been doing this. I gave myself 2 years. By November the 17th of 2021, I plan to be in the studio where I can fly my people out that would love to be on the Let's Sip and Talk with Freema show. And we would not have these technical difficulties. It's saying, okay, ooh. Oh my God, I feel like crying. And I'm getting a request, but it's saying that it's no answer. And I know it's just technical difficulties. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you on your laptop? See you very good, but I can't hear anything. Y'all. I am going to remember what my good friend Nicole told me. Don't let them see you sweat. Things happen. But right now, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Why is happening to me? I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm not going to be a crybaby about it. However, we were speaking. Baron's laughing at me. I don't know what's going on. You have to mute it. Oh, good. I can hear some noise.
And I can hear you.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're
So, Baron. Am I saying that right?
Baron, like Baron Davis or
Baron.
the Red Baron.
Baron.
Yeah.
Okay, Baron.
Baron.
So,
Baron.
Baron.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, and I know I'm going to mess this up. What is P7? Go ahead and correct me. What is that? You're the CEO and founder of that.
It's pylon 7-on-7. Pylon is the yard marker when you go in the end zone. The little orange thing when you're at the end zone, you dive in, you touch the pylon. So it's a football term, but it's also in a technology standpoint, it's the gateway for information from that you use for your phones. The big towers, those are also pylons. So we say that we are the gateway for high school football players to get from point A to B throughout the recruiting process. So that's how we came up with pylon, because one, it's a football term, but in its general usage, it's also that gateway, and we are that gateway for high school players to be able to go from point A to point B.
So, Baron, so you just kind of led your way on into me aggravating you. So when you say you're that gateway into, football from high school football. So if I had a student, which I do, call him Monty Kennedy, he loves football. So are you the recruiters? Are you the scouts that come out and watch the students?
We are the platform that the students participate on. So we do 7-on-7, which is not like a combine. It is it's a game for skill position players that traditionally have been used as a practice tool. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing, they'll do a 7-on-7 period where the wide receivers are working with the quarterbacks on timing, route running, camaraderie, things like that. In the traditional form, when it was a game, it would be high school players and high school teams. So it was, say, South Oak Cliff versus DeSoto, right? But it wasn't anything as far as a recruiting tool. And so that's what we are. So to answer your question, we are the platform that if your son played for a 7-on-7 team or in an organization that did 7-on-7, they would then bring their team to my platform. And then we then go out and get scouts and recruiting coordinators and things like that to give those kids the exposure.
So let me ask you, Baron. So
Yes.
how far out? Where are you located? Let me ask you that first. Where are you located?
Texas.
So how far out do you travel, or do those scouts or recruiters travel to recruit those individuals?
So you talk about recruiting, you look at it a number of different ways. One way is through, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
A little bit. I'm having a little technical difficulties.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear now. So when you look at recruiters, usually people who aren't in the industry, they think of recruiters as actual college coaches. Well, college coaches are not allowed to participate in the evaluation of the kids at the event. So what we do is we then invite scouts like Scout.com, Rivals, 24/7, ESPN, Scouts Inc., Under Armour All-American Game, U.S. Army All-American Game. They come out and then they do the evaluation of your kid. And then that information is then given to college coaches who, once your kid performs in front of these scouts, are now on the radar. If that makes sense.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Alan said, Baron, only be live on one device. Are you on live on more than one device? Because they said they're hearing echoing.
No, I'm only live on one device.
Yeah. Are you on a you got headphones in?
I do not have my headphones in because I got earbuds, and that's what was making the static in my ears. So I can put the earbuds back in.
Yeah, see if that'll work. Because
Okay.
they say they're hearing a little echoing.
Okay, we can do that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we got to with you in a rut to chop it up. I got my Cooper and Thief. We gonna sip and we gonna talk. So if they interested, they want to have to keep it posted.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him for just a second. Hold. Brain. I really need to dive in his brain, y'all. I didn't realize he was the link. He was the link to getting our little football players where they need to be. So listen, if y'all got some football players, y'all better tune in. Y'all better share this video. April, I hope you watching. Oh my God, we got to get him back on. Oh my God. Please come back on. From what I understood, and hopefully, okay, wait, it gave me again. Oh God. It'll let us do it in a second. If for some reason it won't let me add you, I'm gonna give it a second because the last time it gave us. But from what I understand is that dealing with recruiting, scouting, and everything, that Baron, excuse me, is the link to all of this. Am I correct, Baron? We're just checking to see if we can add you back on. Highline got me out the trap. Woo! Praise the Lord, Alex Rayner. See? That's what I'm talking about. And I have one son that loves football, Kamonte Kennedy. He's been playing since he was little. You know, Mom, he called me yesterday, Mom, can I go to the school for football? And I'm thinking like COVID-19, sir. So let me see. It say no answer from video chat. I have to add you on. I have to. Okay. Can you hear me? You can hear me? I can't. Are you saying anything? Because I can't hear you. Mm-mm. Can't hear you at all. But I'm gonna tell you. Oh, I can hear you now. I hear something now. No, I don't.
No, you don't
Oh,
hear
I
me?
hear you now. I hear you now. So Baron, can you hear me? So, and I know I'm kind of my dog in the background. I'm sorry, a little repetitive. So, because we're having a little technical difficulties, can you explain again? Go get your dog. Can you explain again as far as how does it work with the scouts and the recruiter and the link that you were saying Pylon 7 does?
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
You can hear me better now?
I can.
Okay, so earbuds, man, cost too much money not to be working and giving us these
And look,
technical
I got these dollar
difficulties,
I got these dollar headphones.
man. So no, we're good now. We're good
We're
now,
good
right?
now.
Okay, let's rock.
Okay.
So so 7-on-7 is a platform. We are the platform that 7-on-7 teams come to participate on that give the kids an opportunity to be exposed to scouts from media outlets like ESPN, Scout.com, Rivals.com, Under Armour All American Game. So we don't have college coaches out there because that's an NCAA violation.
Mm-hmm.
So schools don't actually come to the events, but all of the schools pay attention to the media that comes to the events, and kids get put on the radar by coming to the events and performing in front of media scouts, and
Got
then the
you.
schools find them from that.
Got
From
you.
that.
So let me ask you, Baron, do y'all come to like the, as people say, the dirty South, like South Carolina, like Edisto High School? Do y'all come to schools as such, to give our little people a chance to get recognized?
So we've grown exponentially over the years. So basically, when we started out, we were only in three locations. One was in Ohio, Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, and basically teams from different states would have to travel to one of those three locations. We're now in 24 different locations here in America and Canada, and teams still have to travel in if we're not in your city. So there are teams in South Carolina, but we don't come to South Carolina. They would then travel to Charlotte, or they would come down to Orlando or Panama City or Tennessee State University in Nashville, and they would travel to us. There has been an explosion of teams from South Carolina for the past 10, 11 years, there weren't a lot of teams from South Carolina, but that is changing. A lot of the higher end players play for a team called the Carolina Stars, which is a hybrid team of kids from North Carolina and South Carolina.
So the
And it's more all-star teams. So when you talk about the platform, typically your Edison High School.
okay.
Your top players on Edison High School would play for the Carolina Stars, and then the Carolina Stars would then travel around the country to various events.
So the Carolina Scars is more like a and I know I'm about to say this completely wrong. Maybe like a group of kids from this county, this that comes together, like a city group or something of that sort. That
Yes,
okay, got you.
clubs. They're called clubs. So you play for a clubs team, an all-star team, a travel team. Most people are more familiar with, say, a AAU basketball.
Right.
I mean, most everybody's familiar with that who's
Yes.
watching this. And so when you think of AAU basketball, it's all-star teams or community kids on a local team.
Got you.
And so as a parent, you wouldn't pay me directly to put your son on my platform. You would pay the Carolina Stars to train your son, teach your son, mold your son, mentor your son, guide your son, etc. And then the Stars, after they done practice and did what they going to do with your son, then they showcase him on my platform.
Wow. So how old, if for the Carolina Scars, how old or what's the youngest age that they allow someone to be on their team? Because this is the first time I'm hearing
So
this.
yeah. So it really depends on the organization. I believe the Carolina Stars go ninth grade and high school.
Okay.
So the way we break up our divisions, though, with Pylon, and there are teams with organizations that go all the way down. We have third and fourth grade division. We have the fifth and sixth grade division, a seventh grade division, a ninth grade only division, and then high school, which are recruitable athletes from ninth grade to 11th
Oh
grade.
wow.
So kids who are in their senior year, they're too old and not eligible to play
Gotcha.
because we're in the off season. So it's different because of COVID, where we've had to kind of make some, kind of in a way that we're allowing seniors to play because a lot of states aren't having their high school season. And so usually you play your season in August through November or December or whenever that is, and then we come in after. So seniors are already have expired eligibility. So that's the reason we go to 11th grade.
Got you. Okay, okay. So Baron, let me ask you, what drove you to actually be into, the Pylon 7? What made you decide that, hey, I want to help other little people, to achieve their goals? What started you with this career?
When I was in high school, I was heavily recruited, and I ran a bad 40 at a football
You
camp.
said what was that? I'm
And
sorry.
because of that, a bad
What's
40
that?
time, 40 time. So basically, if anybody's familiar, if you're familiar with the NFL Combine, they're testing you. It's a test. It's an assessment test based on your athletic ability,
Hmm.
basically. So you run 40 yards and they time you. And I ran a slow time in my 40.
Hmm.
So I lost scholarships because of it.
Mm.
And so I ended up going to college. I was pretty decent. Um, and I knew I could play ball. But because I lost scholarships, I didn't have the opportunity to really showcase that at a major Division I college. I went Division I AA, University of New Hampshire. I was an All-American there. And so I'm like, I know I could play with anybody, but I couldn't run a 40 at the time. So when I got done with school, I ended up, by happenstance, my first job was working with New Jersey Elite Basketball, which is a high-end AAU basketball
Okay.
organization. And I learned how to run camps and what it took to get those kids exposure on a major Division I level in a very professional way. And I was like, the second in command at the organization. It was a small company, and the guy was an executive at Johnson and Johnson, so he really didn't have the time to commit to really running it. And so he was like, okay, do it.
Right.
And so kind of threw me to the wolves, and I learned how to run camps. And so I asked him, I'm like, well, I got a football background. Can we do this in football? And he was basically like, I'm not feeling that, but if you want to, you can. And so I did.
Wow.
And so that's kind of how I got into it. I had this chip on my shoulder about my experience. And then when it was my time to run camps, I was like, I'm going to do a camp where we can evaluate these kids without them hurting their stock and by running a 40. I didn't want anybody else to have to go through what I went
Right,
through
right.
in that regard.
Okay.
And so that's how I got into it. And so I was 24 at the time. I was at the track still training, thinking I was going to go to the NFL and everything. And I seen a kid that was running the bleachers, and I basically convinced them that I had the best camp in the world. And so he brought his parents up the next day. They gave me $350, and I called LegalZoom and started my LLC and had no
Okay.
choice but to be successful.
And that's where
It
you
was
are
like you ain't
now.
even got no choice at this point. Yeah, and that's where we at right now.
That is
You know,
awesome.
you gotta be willing to take the chances. You gotta be willing to have a vision and believe in it and go get it. A lot of people would think I'm crazy. A lot of people thought I was crazy for doing it, especially going about it that way.
Right.
Just taking his kids' money and not having a venue, not having any experience running football camps,
But look where
not
you are
knowing
now.
if I was going to be able to pull it off. And I think God just was like, you build it and they'll come, and it just kind of just keeps growing.
Absolutely. And that's amazing because, at 24 years old, you had the mindset that you wanted to go out there. And not only you weren't thinking about self, you see what I'm saying? You seen a future in other kids. You seen opportunities for them. You wanted to help them grow. So at that age, like that's amazing. And I just wish we had a lot you, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing that, because I need people to understand that it's a lot of us, and I'm not trying to make it, and I hope I don't make you feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to make
No,
it,
we're good. We're
yeah,
talking.
yeah,
We're
yeah, I'm
good.
not
I
trying to
haven't even
make it
sipped
a
my
race
wine yet.
thing, or what have you, but you know you get what I'm saying, and you're sitting here and you're doing
I do.
something
I do.
for all of us. I didn't
I
know anything about
I do.
Pylon 7. I didn't know about the media coming out and helping individuals, or guiding them in the right direction. So just to have you on this show, this platform that I'm trying to do, I really appreciate it, I must say. And you're doing something wonderful for not just your community, I'm gonna say our community, because it gives us a reason to say, hey, you can do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think you need people that you can see doing something different in order for um, some people to have that, that as a goal and as an aspiration
Right.
exists in your community or in around anybody that looks like you, that talks like you. Think that it's not for you,
Right.
and so that's certainly something that I think that Pylon embodies and embraces. We understand the what's the word that I'm looking for? We understand the
We
responsibility.
understand
We understand
responsibility.
the
Listen, to
responsibility.
keep it real, we
We
understand
understand the
the struggle.
responsibility. Man, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Because it's not easy. And it's easy to say, because it's not easy, I can't do. And that's not the way to go about things. I was watching something yesterday. The guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor
Hmm.
Dad was basically talking about how you speak things into existence by just by saying a statement like, I'm not supposed to be able to do this because I come from this community. That's a period. And so your mind shuts down in a way that it's subconscious. I'm not supposed to,
Right.
so I won't.
Right.
Instead of like, well, why can't I? And then when you ask a question, you have to answer that question. And then when you start breaking down the reasons why you can't, then you start to say, okay, well, this is just an obstacle. I can do that, and then you come up with ways to be able to do those things. And so, we have to really start asking questions
Right.
in opposed to making statements. And
Exactly.
I'm not supposed to be here is subconsciously shutting you down from the door. It's like, no, well, why can't
Why
that?
can't
Like, you
I?
did. Like, why can't that? Yeah. And so you start asking yourself, why can't you? And then you be like, well,
I can.
it took this, and this for him, and I can do that. Like,
Exactly.
I can do that. And then you
Exactly.
do. And then, and then it's not about and then it doesn't become about the money. It becomes about um, the proving yourself right in a lot of cases, and doing the things that you're passionate about in a lot of cases, and then it doesn't become work.
Right.
And then when
Absolutely.
you're not working, you have peace of mind. And not saying not to get a job, so
No,
people who are
no, no,
watching this like
yeah.
clearly understand circumstance, but at the same time, you have to think like that. At least that's how I think, and it was validated in watching in this podcast. um, it's there's a reason he sold 100 million books.
Exactly. So do you have like do you do like summer camps? Do you do things of that sort, to where, let's say I wanted to sign my son up and bring him out there for the summer, or do you have any of those things, or is just strictly you go out and recruit, or they sign up for it?
it it's no, we don't do individualized
Okay.
camps or skill position work. That's not our model for business. We are we are an event planning company. We are an operations company. And so, and that's for layman terms, for people who just, don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the platform. We are the platform for you to be able to perform on, right? And so we don't get into other people's lanes. We feel
Gotcha.
like the Carolina Stars are the ones that, if you asked me, and I keep using them just because they're probably the most prominent team in that region
Okay.
and area. And so I look at it like, if you asked me, can I give you $100 to train my son? I would say no. You might want to go spend that $100 with the Carolina Stars. They're going to come to my event anyways, and
Got
so it's
you.
full circle. We give tremendous opportunity for people in our community who love football an opportunity to build community and business. And so that's been one of the things that I take a whole lot of pride in. When I started the company 14 years ago, there were no teams. I created the entire industry.
Wow.
Um, I literally called all the top kids in all 50 states and made it like they were representing their state in in a 7-on-7 tournament. So it was like, you're the best in California. How about you play with the other best kids in California? I'll find you a coach and you just come play type of thing. And so from that, it spun off into guys who are trainers, guys who are mentors, guys who are high school coaches, then are now able to get their own teams and build their own businesses around the training, around the coaching, around the mentorship. And they're able to flourish and do their thing, and then they just bring their kids to my events.
Wow. Wow. So I'm
Yes.
much to say this, and I don't want to hold you too long, because it's Wednesday night. I know Thursday is still the work week. So, like you said, in layman's terms, just to really understand, you know, you're on tonight on Let's Sip and Talk. So, if parents have children that love football, they feel like football there
Yes.
is their life. What could you tell
Yes.
the parents by having you on, just to pop your collar a little bit? This is something that I'm giving you guys. This is something that I'm letting you know that, how you say let me see how I'm gonna say this because I'm really lame. Yeah, I know you don't know me, but as far as
No,
not
you good. We good. I'm feeling this. I like this conversation. I do media a lot. This is the first time doing a Facebook Live.
okay,
I love your consistency in doing this.
thank you.
It's not fly by night. We scheduled this thing out months in
Right.
advance. And you have had people on. You're taking it very serious, and so I'm digging it. I think that it's dope, and I think it's dope to give back
Right.
to your community and things like this. So I'm all for this. I'm not
Well,
I'm not in no rush.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But you know how you say, how people say, it takes someone to know someone. You get where I'm going with this? So by
Yep.
me,
Shout out Alan.
exactly. So like, okay, I'm watching Let's Sip and Talk tonight. We have Baron Flenory on. I hope I'm saying that right. He has connection with
You
the
are.
media. He's able to allow my son to be on a team with Carolina. I can't remember, but I am going to inbox you about
Stars.
Carolina Scars. If I allow my son to
Stars. Like Twinkle Twinkle Little
Stars,
Star.
okay. So if I allow my son
Yep.
to be on Carolina Stars, and then
Yes.
Baron Flenory sees this group, sees my son. I need you to tell us what type of connection that we have right now on Let's Sip and with Freema with Baron Flenory, excuse me.
Um if I understand the question correctly, I would say that if you come to our event and you show out, you're going to get exposure.
See,
Period. That's that. I mean that's really
that's it in a
that's
nutshell.
really yeah, that's it in a
That's it in a
nutshell. It
nutshell.
doesn't need to be elaborated on. But if I'm talking to parents from the point of view of somebody who's been in the industry for a long time, um, I would say that first of all, football needs to be parents need to have two things. One, a realistic view of what their child can do.
Okay.
which is
That's
hard.
fair.
It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's fair. But have unwavering belief and support
Okay.
in your child. Like, I'm
Right.
not saying don't be like, little Johnny ain't gonna be
Right.
go
Right.
to Alabama, bless his dreams. You know what I'm saying? You don't discourage that. But if little Johnny's 5'5", 121 pounds, and he plays running back, I would just say go on the University of Alabama's website and just see what their running backs look like.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't mean that he can't play there. I'm not discouraging little Johnny from having that opportunity or that dream.
Right.
But if he don't go to Alabama, keep it in perspective, right? Find a school where there's 120-pound, 5'5" running back. And that
Gotcha.
might be the Citadel. That might be Tennessee State University. That might
Okay.
be University of New Hampshire where I went. So find those type of schools. You have to do your due diligence in the recruiting process as parents. You can't rely on your high school coaches all the time.
Okay.
Trust them and rely on them and lean on them, but don't give them the keys to the car for the entire
Got you.
duration of the trip.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing that I say is football is really only the vehicle from point A to point B. Plies was on his Facebook Live just the other day, and he was really talking about, like, why do people in our community think the only way out is to rap
Or
to
sports.
be a football player or a doctor or a lawyer, right? Those are like the four things,
Right.
and most of us ain't going to be doctors and lawyers. Not that we can't, but when you go to the hospital, there ain't a whole bunch of us. It's getting better. But the point is like, when you look at success, it's like doctor, lawyer, football player, rapper,
Right. Right.
right? And so if you're not academic enough to be the doctor or the lawyer, it now goes down to, rapper or athlete. And so we need to make sure that we are conscious about letting our kids know that they use football and you don't let football use you. Because at the end of the day, even if you play 20 years, you got the rest of your life to live.
Right.
And when you got the rest of your life to live, whenever you're done, what are you going to do next? Like that train stops at some point.
Absolutely.
And so if you're not preparing yourself for 40 years down the line, which is not easy to do, man. The things that I'm saying seem very basic, but they're difficult. It's difficult for some people who can't see past the next day to think 40 years down the line. But you have to. You just got to find a way to do that, because if you don't, you're going to do a disservice to yourself, because football is not the end all be all. And so those are the two nuggets that I give the parents. And again, it sounds cliche. You tell the kids, man, do good in school, and everybody says do good in school, and it's like, oh, I hear that every day. I'm tired of hearing that. But if somebody says something over and over and over and over again, it's because it has some merit.
Right.
And we really have to embrace that, and we have to be on that. And parents need to really step up in making that dream a reality.
Absolutely.
For their kids. A lot of kids who make it have that type of support, and the kids that don't have that type of support, because there are kids out there, it's a rough go at it, but then you got to figure it out,
Right.
However it is that you figure it out. I don't have all the answers, but you asked me a question about the parents, and so that's
Right.
what I would tell them. And then as far as the exposure is concerned, you look at the organization that align with your goals, align with the kids you want to play with. Carolina Stars has 31 kids going Division I. Me personally, I want to put my kid on that team,
Right.
and I'm gonna drive 2 hours back and forth from practice and make that commitment. And if I can't, you find that locally, and find what fits best for you and yours.
Right.
But never, ever, ever as a parent, just give the car keys to somebody else to determine the future
Your fate of your child.
You have to take some steps. You have to.
Have to.
And if you don't know about it, you have to ask the questions. You got to find the people to ask. You can't be scared. Like, I don't know. Get in my inbox and be like, Baron, well, I'm asking questions.
Hello.
Or, whatever, your high school coach, like whatever it is, don't be like, that person's unapproachable. You know, when it comes to your child, there's nobody that's unapproachable, man.
Right.
I'm going to anybody about
Exactly.
mine. You know, like
Exactly.
it doesn't matter who it is. I'm not going to be intimidated by that because you can't be scared when it's the fate of your child, and most people aren't. You know, paternal and maternal instinct kick in.
Wow. So that was some good feedback, Baron. I must be honest with you because, like you said, don't be scared when it comes to your child. Ask. If you don't ask, you'll never know. And this right here, meeting someone that has that platform, that has that potential to actually tell you. I never heard of Carolina Stars ever, but you best believe when me and you disconnect, I'm Googling. I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out where this
Yeah, for
practice start.
sure.
I'm taking my baby there because my baby was little. And that's all he loves it. He's good at it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a mom at it. So I'm going to do what it takes to at least give him a shot at it. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes,
I must
as you
say,
should.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing all of this information with us. Not a lot of people give us the tools and the resources that we need to strive for greater for our children. So now it's up to the parents.
Yes,
You got the platform. You hear Baron. You hear him. He's telling you what to do. Take a leap of faith. We're going to take a leap of
yes.
faith and we're going to
Please
do it.
do. Please do.
Is there anything
Vision.
else you
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 know,
want to
have the
share with Let's
vision
Sip
and
and
go.
Talk with Freema before I give you your win?
Um,
You said everything, huh? You said a mouthful just now, I must say.
you know what? You know, yes, because we've really been talking about sports and what I do. But I do want to. Um, I do while I have the time and I have your audience. I want to say we got to keep fighting for social justice.
Mm,
Um, in any way that we can. In any way that you can chip in, we got to chip in and figure out a way um, to be better
right.
and to let people know that we're not playing. Like we're tired of the craziness that's going on right now, and in whatever way that you can be involved in it, you don't got to go down the picket sign
Right.
and all of that because that's just not everybody's lane. But we got to figure out a way to do our part, and that's big. I mean, I really think that's big. I feel,
Sorry.
I often feel no, no, no. You're good. You're good. I often feel guilty in um, a lot of what I preach on Facebook, Instagram is about, business and money and
Mm-hmm.
motivation and things like that. And I've been pretty successful.
Okay. That's
And
awesome.
but I say that in the way that it seems during these times talking about what I've done and what I'm going to do and motivating in business and money, things like that. It's superficial when a lot of things are going on right now that I could be talking about or sharing about or
Right,
using
right,
my platform for a different message.
right.
And so I'm very very aware of the Pylon brand. I'm very aware of my brand. I'm very aware of the things that the community knows me for, which has been football
Mm-hmm.
for the most part and business for the most part. And so, I talk about that a
Right,
lot.
right, right.
But during these times, I want to convey another side. Like I'm tired of the craziness going on as well,
Absolutely.
and so I'm finding my lane to do my thing in that regard. And so I just implore everybody else, no matter how they feel about the thing now, because that's maybe for another time. but
No, we can talk
everybody can
about it.
come
Look, on
to
Let's
it
Sip and
in a
Talk, we
group.
talk about pretty much everything.
Everything, right?
Everything.
So then cool. So we can all agree that change needs to be had
Change needs to be had.
in our criminal
Absolutely.
justice system, in the way that we view our brother and our sister and our neighbor and community. Change needs to be had, and that I think everybody can agree on,
Right.
right? I mean, you may feel one way about arrest tactics and things like that, or what's going on with rioting and protesting. There's going to be a million different opinions on that, and I'm not here to debate anybody on on their opinions if they differ from mine. But I think that a common theme is we all know that some things need to be changed, and in order for things to change, we just need to take personal accountability and do what we can
Absolutely.
do to
Absolutely.
affect that change.
Okay, so I want to ask you this, and if
So
you're uncomfortable, speaking about this, you don't have to speak about it.
I'm comfortable talking about anything.
Okay, so I have an assistant, and before I bring you on, that
Yes.
I needed to speak on the gentleman in Wisconsin. And I'm pretty sure all of us are aware, that he got shot 7 times in his back. I think he was proceeding to
Yes.
walk to the driver's side of the car, his children in the car. He didn't stop or what have you. So I see, and again, if you don't feel comfortable speaking about this, I totally
No, no, no,
understand.
no. We're good. We're good. We're
So,
good. We're good.
my
I am comfortable in my skin,
okay,
and I am comfortable having the opinions that I have,
right,
even if they don't match everybody's opinion. And
exactly.
and I think that that's okay.
It's okay.
One thing that I've really been working on is communication. And I am an excited, rah rah type of person. And so when I talk with passion, and a lot of times, previous to my healing, um, or trying to heal, I would talk, and when I'm listening, if it was a point of view that I didn't understand or want to understand, I'm waiting to reply instead of waiting to get that other person's
Right,
perspective. And if we're not on the same page, just be like, all right, well, we just agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, we're not going to go back and forth. You're not going to get me out my energy and out of character
right.
because you don't agree with how I feel on a certain situation. So I say all that to say, whatever you're going to ask, I'm comfortable in answering.
Okay.
And then we can have a dialogue about it.
Exactly. So, with that situation, honestly, I seen the video. I didn't dissect it. I didn't analyze it to a T. However, I don't know if the
Yes.
cops was telling him to stop, raise your hands, put your hands up, what have you. Did he proceed to walk off, regardless of what they were asking him to do? Did they not know what he was trying to get out of the vehicle? They didn't have to shoot him 7 times, of course, if that's how many times they shot him. But
They did or they did not.
they did shoot him, but I don't know
Did you
exactly
say
how
they?
many times.
No. 7.
7 times. They did not have to shoot him
7.
7 times. However,
Okay.
however, as a black man, and I know a lot of people, and right now we're not interviewing anymore. We're just having a conversation. We're having our normal discussion.
Conversation.
So, as a black man that knows what's going on in society these days and times, and I'm saying if, because again, I don't know if they were telling him to stop, put your hands up. If he proceeded to continuously walk off while they're telling him not to, did they know what he was pulling out of that vehicle? Did they know if he was getting a gun to shoot at them? I mean, not saying they were right, but were they completely wrong for at least tasing him if that's what they would have done? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do. I do. I do. So take it to the beginning.
Okay.
Take it to the very beginning. Um, I feel like he should have complied
Okay.
with whatever the directives were at the very beginning. And I don't know what they were. If it was
Right.
hop
That's
on
what I'm.
one foot,
Okay. We agree on
I'm
that.
going to hop on one foot, and then I'm going to then deal with it um, after the fact. If I'm in the right, then I'm going to deal with it, from the safety of my bed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's that. I think he could have complied. I don't know what they were asking him to do. Um, but then once he didn't,
Mm-hmm.
once he didn't comply, I think that the police then handled it totally
Right.
inappropriately. Until he went into the car and you don't know what somebody's grabbing. So there was a lot of time from, and if you watch the video, 2 or 3 seconds is a lifetime to make a decision and handle it. And I feel like they missed the opportunity to keep him from getting
Getting to.
to the car door in the first place.
Absolutely.
I think that them pulling out and drawing their weapon and not drawing a taser or whatever in that time, they went directly for their firearms
Yeah.
from the onset. And so if you're dealing with the criminal element, which the police have to automatically assume criminal element, when he's walking off, one, you're expecting him to walk off because you're dealing with somebody who's not going to comply if it's criminal element. And then two, you have to have protocol and procedure, and you have to work within that protocol and procedure to subdue him before he even makes it around the car.
Right.
And drawing your firearm and pulling on his white t-shirt is not in anybody's handbook. And so they are at the level of accountability because they handle the situation completely wrong when they have the authority and the responsibility to handle it correctly.
Right.
You're sworn in because we trust that you're going to be able to handle these situations without deadly force. When he opened up the car door, I'm not completely upset that they did what they did. I'm not overly upset. I'm upset with it because it just sucks.
Right. Right.
Because the whole thing just
The whole
sucks.
thing.
I'm not because the whole thing sucks. The whole thing sucks. The whole thing sucks. But it shouldn't have got that far.
Absolutely.
And so they need held accountable.
I agree 100%.
They are not right. They are not
They are
right.
not
They are
right.
not right. They are not right. And we're not and I'm not going to put the blame on that gentleman for them not handling their responsibility the wrong way. And the wrong way. And I don't know if I'm politically correct on this. I'm just giving my opinion. The police handled that situation all the way wrong. And when you handle the situation wrong, there's accountability that needs to be had. And whatever that accountability that needs to be had, I hope the justice system gets it right and they punish those gentlemen to the full extent of the law.
Absolutely.
I worked in a school for adjudicated youth, which is like Gridiron Gang, which is like a police, like a school jail for minor offenders.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And we had protocol and procedure. And if we didn't handle protocol and procedure, we were written up and we were dealt with.
Wow.
And we were dealt with by either being fired or being put on probation or whatever. We had to do things by the book. And when you don't do it by the book, you leave yourself open to being dealt with. And we can't allow those cops to get off for that when they should have handled it differently from the onset.
Right.
The beginning and the end it's just a sad
It is.
situation.
And
it's
see,
a sad situation.
That goes back to when you say you got to handle things, by protocol. What's in the book? What you're learned, what you're taught when you take that job on. So I don't know if you heard about the and I don't know what city they're in, but it was a young lady and maybe three or four young kids, her nieces. They were going to get their nails done, and it was called in that this was a stolen vehicle, and it happened. It wasn't. However, it was a stolen vehicle. The cops came, and everybody's on the ground, from a 14-year-old, babies in the car. You get what I'm saying? So they said it was protocol, but do you have to have some type of sense of judgment? These are babies that we're holding guns, to, regardless if it was a stolen vehicle or not. To me, it seems like
But
there are certain
but I don't think
ways.
that that's the protocol. That's not the protocol to pull your firearm. That's last resort. And so I would never allow them to tell me that that's the protocol is to pull your firearm and use deadly force at any particular time in the there are things that can be done before that. And I don't know that situation, so I can't speak really intelligently about that. So, I don't like commenting on things that I don't know. I just know that from the way things look, we are being targeted in a
Right.
systematic way that seems like there's disparity, like we're being targeted for cops um, saying that they have the right to use deadly force, and it's not right. It's just not right. And I don't want to speak on things I don't know about, so I don't know
Right,
that
right.
one. Just this particular case, because it's so new and it's so fresh, and the video's there for everybody to see and everybody to have witnessed and watched and to have an opinion. Um, I'm able to speak on that because I've watched that, I've talked
Right.
about it, and it made me sick, man. It really did, Farima. It really made me sick. Because it didn't have to get to that point. It didn't have to get to that
Didn't
point.
have
He
to
could
get to
have
that
been
point.
sub
Right.
Yeah, he could he that guy that gentleman could have been subdued prior to even opening the car door. Once he became non-compliant, they could have used another method, and then they didn't have to grab their firearm. They could have grabbed the taser, and that's to the extent of it. I understand when he opened the door, they're going to say, but
Hmm.
nobody knows what he's reaching for. So at that point, if you're looking at it from just that snippet,
Right.
you don't know. But if you've watched the whole thing, there was time for them to have an opportunity to de-escalate that situation before it got that far, and they're
Exactly.
trained to do so. And if you're trained to do something and you don't do it, you have to be held accountable. Simple as that. And they need to hold these gentlemen accountable.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
that.
Well, Baron, I think we went from the greatness to the
Yeah, for
lows that
sure.
we're going through right now. And I really appreciate you even sharing your thoughts, opening up with us. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people are
Yeah.
not, as open to really share their opinions, their thoughts. And I appreciate you for that.
It's scary.
Um, I appreciate it a lot. So I'm gonna give
It's extremely
everyone,
scary to give
huh?
your real. I said it's
Exactly.
extremely scary to give your real and your truth, and say things that may not be on par with what the masses think,
Everybody agree
or
with.
even the person, I don't know you, or even what you think, right? The
Right, right.
judgment in having a real opinion is it's a scary thing. But I think that, I think that, honesty and truth have to be the forefront of communication. And
Absolutely.
when you have communication, then that's when things can be solved. If people
Absolutely.
are, tiptoeing around issues and don't want to say how they really feel, then when things don't go the way that you want them to go, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself. And so
Exactly.
it was funny because I'm in my office right
Mhm.
now, and there was a statement I made. My wife poked her head in, like, "You sure you want to say that?" Um, and the truth is yes, I did. I wanted to say everything that I said, and you know, the bottom line of that situation, just so that we are
Right.
clear, those cops need to be held accountable because they
Exactly.
were wrong and they
Absolutely.
did not handle the situation in a professional way, and we trust them to
To
protect
protect
us, and we
us.
trust them to handle the situation in a professional, protocol aligned way. And when they don't, you have to be held accountable. And
Absolutely,
so they
100%.
need to be held accountable.
Absolutely, 100%. In no way, shape, or form, excuse me, I felt they were right. But sometimes when we
Yes.
know things can get misconstrued, things can get torn out of proportion, sometimes we just have to simmer down a little bit, to avoid
Yeah.
craziness that people may do. So,
Yes.
um, Baron, again, I appreciate this. You definitely have to come on again in the future. Thank you for sharing and shed some spotlight on some things that some of us were ignorant to. We did not know. So I thank you for sharing this with us. This meant a lot. And I hope you have a great night, a great rest of your week. And thank you for coming on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema. And as we always say, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Thank you so
Cheers. Thank
much.
you.
Bye bye.
The opportunity was dope.
Thank you so much. I'm still on live. I wanted to say this really quick. I know that we got off with Baron, but I did want to say this really quickly to everyone that's watching. You know how some people, and I might should go live again or just leave it on here. Um, I need people to understand that's watching. Some people say it's a platform. Some people say, it's something to do. But tonight was a platform. I need the parents to understand this gentleman that was just on has a platform. You get what I'm saying? So, every time Let's Sip and Talk with Freema brings someone on, it's for a reason. And I need y'all to take heed to this. I need y'all to understand these are connections that we are building for our future. I need you guys to take this serious. I need you guys to understand that you are building connections for our future. Baron Flenory Jr. does not necessarily recruiting, not necessarily scouting, but the media, which means if your son makes it to where they are watching him, that is the platform that he needs to be successful. I need y'all to understand this. Let's Sip and Talk with Freema don't just come on for the hell of it. You understand what I'm saying? Alan, and I'm going to put you out there, Alan. Alan Williams has given us the connections that we need to make our future successful so we don't have to be out here in the future protesting, fighting, shooting, and doing all this crazy stuff. Let's take this time to take these connections for our children. I need y'all to share this show. I know so many kids that love football, that want to do it. And right now is the time to understand. I never heard of South Carolina Carolina Stars. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll drive those 2 hours to make sure Kamante practice and goes everything so he can be on Baron Flenory, platform to show him off to maybe he can get where he's going to get. Y'all have to utilize these platforms. You understand? I don't get paid for doing this stuff. I get donations. You get what I'm saying? And the donations will help me hopefully to get a studio that's permanent, to get a studio to bring individuals on. Share this, understand these platforms, and these are connections for us. Okay? I just needed to say that. I wanted to say it for a long time, but I wanted to wait until we finished the interview. These are connections for our future. Yes, we got to utilize them, people. We have to utilize the connections that we have. We all heard the saying, sometimes it takes someone to get somewhere, or you have to know someone to get where you want to go, or something like that. Utilize these connections, people. And I'm so not being funny. I'm so not being funny. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you know little scouts that want to be football players, Carolina Stars, make sure you look up Pylon 7. Like, this is real out here, people. Okay, I didn't, and honestly, when I bring these people on, I don't know. We have a little conversation, but I don't actually go in. I'll learn it when you guys learn it. So this tonight, To me, I feel it was serious. And because I say it was serious, because I know I have a son that puts his soul into football, which I know we say we shouldn't say, okay, you're going to be a football player. You got to have something else. But listen, we have connections, people. We got to utilize it, okay? That's all I'm saying. I thank you guys for tuning in. Pylon 7 on 7. Thank you, Alan. Pylon 7 on 7. I thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, peace and love. Love you guys. Have a good night. Peace and love.